So how good is the Sony a7 III in 2024? Personally, I have been using the Sony a7 IV for the last 2 years. But how good is the Sony a7 III in 2024? Because I feel like it's still such a good camera, and because it's a little bit older, it's now priced so well. And I have to say it's a very good, hybrid shooting camera for social media. And just going over the specs, well, it has a 24 megapixel sensor, which is more than enough for any social media, more than enough for most case scenarios where you're gonna use the photos from it. It can record up to 4K 30 frames per second, which is actually downsampled from 6K footage, which means it's extra crispy. It's just so nice. And also it can record full HD, so 1080p footage, all the way to 120 frames per second, which is amazing when you want to have that slow motion footage. Being that the Sony a7 III has the backside illuminated sensor and it's a full frame, it's a beast in low light. There are a couple of things that I would kind of miss having now worked with the Sony a7 IV, which is, for example, the 10-bit footage. The Sony a7 III only supports 8-bit footage, which means with very harsh editing in post-production, it can fall apart and start being a little bit, not as good as it could be. Also, it comes from a time that many of you might not remember or just don't think about it every day. Well, now, like the Sony a7 IV has a flip-out LCD where I can see myself and everything that I record on the side. Well, there was a time where people would use Sony cameras or Canon cameras with no flip-out LCDs, and a lot of videos online, if you search right now on many popular photo video creators YouTube channels, you would find videos about please Sony, please Canon make flip out LCDs, and here we have Sony a7 IV having it, but Sony a7 III didn't have it. So it was like the Canon 1DX Mark II versus the Sony a7 III, different price brackets, but both like most popular cameras and both not having the LCDs. And the Sony a7 III didn't have it, which was kind of like a trade-off. I did not have a flip out LCD, so everything was a little bit harder, and because of that you kind of had to guess, am I in the frame or not? You kind of get used to it, and you kind of get used to like checking on your hand if it's properly exposed. That was something we had to work with, and I feel like that is something that I wish wasn't there, but it is from that time where it wasn't on all the cameras. But I still feel like it's an amazing hybrid camera in 2024. It still supports very nice high quality footage for video, so you really can do so much with this camera still in 2024. You can really use it for great posts and great videos for social media. And you can also use it for any kind of productions. You can really push it far if you want to. In my opinion, now that it's a little bit older, it's probably a little bit cheaper, but it's still a very nice hybrid camera that I definitely would recommend in 2024 if that is something that is in your budget. And because the Sony E-mount is a little bit more mature at this point, you can really have many different nice lenses from different manufacturers, like this Viltrox 85mm f1.8, or like the Samyang 18mm f2.8, or like the Tamron 28-75, which all of them are not Sony, but work with the Sony system, and that is the beauty of having a very nice mature system in place. Overall, would I recommend it? Definitely. If it's in your price budget, I would still say it's a great camera for hybrid shooting. With that being said, it's gonna be the end of today's video. I hope you guys learned something new today. If you did, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. I hope you guys enjoyed this video once again, and I'll see you next time.